Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to step onto the ice for some biscuits and penalties. I'm Cobra, and I am joined by Alex. Of course, say hello, my friend.
Oh,
All right. So interesting things to talk about today. We are definitely getting closer and closer to the end of the regular season. Unfortunately, um hockey is starting to pick up and get into the better part of its season, which is the Stanley Cup playoffs. Always exciting to see the Stanley Cup. Even if you're a non-hockey fan, the Stanley Cup playoffs are exciting to watch, just in general. It's almost like NBA in that way, where the finals are the most exciting part of the basketball. But hockey is a little different. Hockey just draws you in. And what do you have to say about that, man?
I do agree. The Stanley Cup is one of the most watched playoffs outside of the Super Bowl and the World Series. So America does watch it. Non-hockey fans and hockey fans, and if your team's not in the playoffs, you still watch it because it's the intensity and it's the 7 game feel of watching hockey for 2 to 3 weeks and seeing who can claim the big one.
Last year, when when my brother Ricky was in the hospital with a knee infection, we were watching the Stanley Cup final. Not the Stanley Cup final, but the Western Conference final. It was the Vancouver Canucks versus the Edmonton Oilers, and we were actually rooting. We were rooting for the Canucks, and on that one because we kind of didn't want Connor McJesus to get into the Stanley Cup final. And it was a great hockey game. Thatcher Demko played his ass off, played better than Stuart Skinner in that game, but it was just a lucky break. Um, and that but again, non-hockey fans can get into hockey. Even casuals get into hockey very well when it's the Stanley Cup playoffs. But we do know there were other things other than the race for your spot to clinch the Stanley Cup and in your spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs. There was a little bit of excitement today. Um, Alex Ovechkin obviously is chasing Wayne Gretzky. He is at 888. How fitting, because he is the great eight. It's 6. He has 7 more goals to get. Unfortunately, he didn't get one today against the Panthers. He's kind of running out of time per se to break it this season. Alex, you're a Capitals fan. I want to hear from you.
Yeah, it sucks that Ovechkin is still 7 away. We all the Caps fans thought by this time this year he'll be past the record or 3 or 4 goals to it, but obviously the broken leg set him back about a month in his season. But he still is chasing the record. With 2 assists today, he is definitely passing the puck around. But like Cobra just mentioned, he has limited games left there, but I believe 12 games left because we're about 3 weeks to the end of the season. And if he doesn't pass it, I won't be that upset. He is still going to be in the Hall of Fame. He still has the resume and the Stanley Cup ring to get in there. He's been in the league for a long time now, and not every record needs to be broken or will be broken. So if he falls just short, it's not that big of a deal, but I would like to see him actually pass him because that would be amazing for Ovechkin being as great as he is.
Not only that, Alex, but Alex Ovechkin, chasing chasing Wayne Gretzky's record per se definitely brought a lot more excitement and probably a lot more eyeballs that hockey hadn't seen in a while. All right, because it brought a bit of intrigue. Oh crap! Wayne Gretzky's gonna actually get a record that everyone thought was going to be gone, but was going to stand the test of time. Was going to, when the inevitable heat death of the earth happens, and the world collapses, Wayne Gretzky's record would still stand, and he'd be a legend. He's still a legend now, but he'd be an immortal legend per se. That no one could touch. And all of a sudden, Alex Ovechkin gets closer like this, and it's like, ooh, there's some intrigue, there's some pop. So, I definitely know that Ovechkin is in the Hall of Fame. He's a dynamic player. There's just no. He's definitely first ballot. When he's eligible, he is first ballot Hall of Famer all the way. That is a no doubter. But other than that, it's just, it kind of sucked that the knee injury hampered things, which, it happens. It's hockey. It's hockey. It's the dreaded nature of the sport, the physicality of it. But it's also why we love it. So I hope Ovechkin at least sticks around. If he's chasing the record, he'll probably stick around for one more year. Because that's definitely something that it's obvious he could still dish it out. I mean, you just said he was starting to pass the puck a lot more too. So he's still a valuable asset. It's not like he's cannon fodder. So there is that. But other than that, I think it's going to be pretty interesting what happens this season. And this next season, I'm sorry. So, anyhow. But other than Alex Ovechkin, well, I kind of think we have to crucify some of the dead here. We know at least offhand that there are a few teams that we can definitely consider eliminated. I can rattle off 5 names off the top of my head that I would consider truly eliminated. And that would be the Chicago Blackhawks, the Buffalo Sabres, and the San Jose Sharks, and the Nashville Predators. Like those four teams at least are out, statistically out. Of those 4 teams, Alex, which one is the biggest surprise to you?
Probably the Nashville Predators. They had a lot of hope entering the season with their offense and with the goalie being a star of that team, and they kind of fell apart really early in the season, and they kind of just derailed from there. They had to sell at the trade deadline. They couldn't get pieces to get themselves back into the race again. This is a big blow for Nashville because the Tennessee State teams have no teams that can do anything at all in any sport because all of them are complete garbage. And it sucks for Predators fans. They've waited a long time for another chance at the Stanley Cup, and it seems like there's no answers. No matter how many coaches they have, no matter how many good players they have, no matter who they add with the star-studded roster they can build, nothing goes right for the Predators at all. And I'm not sure when Nashville will get something going, but they need to do it soon, or we might not see the Predators in the league anymore because they might move or change names, or who knows, sell for all I know.
Unlike the Atlanta Thrashers, I don't think the Nashville Predators are going to sell. The Nashville Predators fan base is large enough to be sustainable. I mean, it's not like they're the Thrashers, Thrashers or Coyotes. Like the people who own the Predators actually care about hockey and care about the off ice product as well. I do agree with you that the Nashville Predators are the biggest surprise because they signed Steven Stamkos. Stamkos is on the Predators. They had UC Saros in net, who is still an elite goaltender, the heir apparent to Pekka Rinne, who is too good right now. But I will definitely say there is one that Urinating Tree said, probably the best, Urinating Tree, friend of the channel, said that the person to really blame for Nashville's struggle is Barry Trotz, who I think suffers from Phil Jackson syndrome. The only thing that he's not doing is that he's trying to force down the triangle offense down people's throats. Thank God for that. But for me, I have to disagree and say that the Sabres are a bigger disappointment than the Predators. And a lot of people are probably looking at me and going, wait, why is Buffalo a bigger disappointment than Nashville? Well, here's the thing. Buffalo actually had momentum coming into this season. They had momentum, they had offense. Tage Thompson's a superstar. It just looked, they had high hopes in Devin Levi and UPL, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. They had high hopes. They brought in James Reimer as a backup. All this stuff. Like they were hoping that at least they would make a good push, a decent push, and then Buffalo turned into Buffalo once again, and and it's like they actually performed worse than they did last year. So that is interesting to me. It's almost like I don't know what the heck's going on, why there is a duality in Buffalo sports, why the Bills are great and the Sabres suck ass, considering they're owned by the same owner. So that's very interesting. What do you have to say about my opinion, Alex?
Definitely a crazy point of view on the Sabres, knowing how disappointed they are every single year, being the bottom of the barrel every year, finding no answers for any of their problems. No matter how many times they get top young talent from Canada or America, they refuse to fix their team. And I'm surprised that the Bills are being invested way more than the Buffalo Sabres, because it seems like the Sabres need an identity and they don't. It's just trash can.
Yeah. The phrase "no, dig up, stupid" definitely applies to the Buffalo Sabres. They're definitely digging up. They definitely need to dig up, not down. And someone needs to tell them to dig up, not down. Anywho, that is enough for our round table. We need to get into the standings. So, we've already determined that the Sabres are at the bottom. We're not, the Sabres are at the bottom. The Blackhawks and Predators are at the bottom, and the Sharks are at the bottom. So we're going to go to the Atlantic. Alex, can you read off the Atlantic standings?
I can. We got the Toronto Maple Leafs, who has been leading in the past, I think, month or two, with 42 wins, 24 losses, and 3 overtime losses with 87 points. The defending Stanley Cup champions are right behind them at 42 wins, 25 and 3, 87 points. Tampa Bay Lightning, 40, 24 and 5, 85 points. The Ottawa Senators, 36, 27 and 5, 77 points. The Montreal Canadiens, 33, 27 and 8, 74 points. The Detroit Red Wings, 32, 30 and 6, 70 points. The Boston Bruins, 30, 31 and 9, 69 points.
Nice.
And the Buffalo Sabres, 27, 35 and 6 with 60 points.
Yes. And now to the Metropolitan Division. We have the Washington Capitals, 47, 15 and 8, 102 points. And right behind them we have Raleigh. Thank you, Hurricanes man. We have the Carolina Hurricanes, 42, 23, and 4, 88 points. The New Jersey Devils, 37, 27, and 6, 80 points. The New York Rangers, 34, 31, and 6 for 74 points. The New York Islanders, 32, 28, and 9, 73 points. The Columbus Blue Jackets, 31, 29, and 9, 71 points. The Pittsburgh Penguins, 29, 32, and 10, 68 points. And the Philadelphia Flyers, 28, 34, and 9, 65 points. All right. Now we're going to go to the Pacific Division. I'll read that, and then, Alex, I'll have you end with the Central, okay? The Vegas Golden Knights, 40, 20, and 8, 88 points. The Los Angeles Kings, 38, 21, and 9, 85 points. The Western Conference champion Edmonton Oilers, 40, 24, and 5, 80 points. The Calgary Flames, 33, 25, and 11, 77 points. The Vancouver Canucks, 32, 26, and 12, 76 points. The Anaheim Ducks, 30, 31, and 8, 68 points. The Seattle Kraken, 30, 35, and 5, 65 points. And the San Jose Sharks, 18, 42, and 9, 45 points. That's your cue, Alex.
And the Central Division leading as per usual through most of the season with the Venice Trophy winner, as we can assume. The Winnipeg
Vezina,
Jets.
not Venice. Vezina.
Vesna.
It's a person's name. Vezina.
Winnipeg Jets leading Central Division 48, 18, and 4 with 100 points. Dallas Stars 44, 21, and 4, 92 points. Colorado Avalanche 42, 25, and 3, 87 points. Minnesota Wild 40, 25, and 5, 85 points. St. Louis Blues 36, 28, and 7, 79 points. The Utah Hockey Club 32, 27, and 11, 75 points. Nashville Predators 25, 35, and 8, 58 points. And the Chicago Blackhawks 20, 41, and 9 with 49 points.
All right. How interesting it is that Minnesota Wild are in this this big amount of contention. They're definitely going to get a wild card spot. And that it's Marc-Andre Fleury's last year. Not only that, seeing Marc-Andre Fleury starting to leave the NHL on a high note, and Pat Maroon leaving on a low note with the Chicago Blackhawks. That's kind of sad, man.
Agreed.
And now, we got to get to our games of the weekend, man. So interesting. Sunday and Monday Sunday is jammed packed, while Monday is it only has 4 games available. So tomorrow we have the Philadelphia Flyers taking on the Chicago Blackhawks, the Sabres facing the Jets, the Penguins facing the Panthers, the Predators facing the Blues, the Lightning facing the Golden Knights, the Hurricanes facing the Ducks, and the Bruins facing the Kings on Sunday. And on Monday, we have the Blue Jackets, Islanders, Canucks, Devils, Wild Stars, Red Wings, Utah. So, Alex, you know the rules. Give me your 2 for Sunday and 1 for Monday.
First game for Sunday is going to be the Lightning and the Golden Knights, 2 teams that are in the bulk of the playoff race. The Lightning are trying to take that 2 spot away from the Florida Panthers, who are gripping onto it for dear life because they seem to be on a hot streak recently. And the Golden Knights are continuing to try to win their conference They have been on a really good streak recently, scoring well, shooting the puck well. I'm very excited to see how this game unfolds tomorrow night. I'm definitely excited to see how it unfolds. And my second game is going to be the Flyers and the Blackhawks. Even though the Blackhawks are now limited from contention, I feel like they have nothing to play for. But the Flyers are trying to build momentum to make that final push to try to climb in the conference to try to get that wild card spot. They probably won't, but the Pennsylvania has struggled this year to win games to get in the playoff picture. We'll see what the Flyers can do with this game, and the Blackhawks are just going to be dead horses at this point because they just have looking to the draft and free agency.
All right. And for your Monday night game?
I'm going to go with the Canucks and the Devils, two teams that seem to be on a hot streak. The Canucks trying to stay in the playoff race because they are, I believe, fighting for a wild card spot
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well. They are,
Because they're behind Flames.
and the Devils have something to play for as well. They are the third spot in the Metropolitan. They are 8 points behind the Hurricanes, so every point matters in these last games for the Devils. If they don't win enough games, they're going to be left with the third seed. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup as most of the conferences are down to the wire with teams that are just 8 points a point or tied for these positions. And these last 2 weeks is going to be phenomenal hockey, and I'm so excited to watch it all unfold with the playoffs right around the corner.
Exactly. And not only, and as for me, I'm gonna go with the Sabres and the Jets. Like you said, earlier, there's teams that don't have anything to play for. They're kind of playing spoiler. This is a David and Goliath matchup because you have the lowly Sabres facing off against Connor Hellebuck, who, as you said earlier, is a Vezina trophy caliber goaltender and is probably going to win the Vezina this year. And then after that, I'm going to have the Lightning and the Golden Knight. Oh wait, didn't you just say that?
I did.
Okay, so I can't say that. Then how about the Penguins and Panthers? Uh, it seems like Sergei Bobrovsky always has the Penguins number. So it's always good to see when he does. So I'm going to say the Panthers and Panthers Penguins. And now as for my Monday night game, I'm going with the Blue Jackets and Islanders. Both of these teams are fighting for their playoff lives. That is not hyperbole. That is just a fact of life. The Blue Jackets are playing for Johnny Gaudreau, and the Islanders are playing just to get in. So that's going to be exciting to watch. And we're going to wrap up Biscuits and Penalties here. But before we go, we want to remind you that this episode of Biscuits and Penalties was brought to you by Dr. Squatch. Hey, Dr. Squatch, ain't seen you in a while. Dr. Squatch is currently working with Call of Duty. They have the limited edition soap and deodorant known as, the Ghost Grit. The Ghost Grit and the Sarge soaps are available, and the Ghost Stick and Sarge Stick are available as the Call of Duty 4-pack. If you're a Call of Duty fan, these are going to be great soaps to be used probably as gifts or to clean your stinking ass up. No offense. They also have other bundles as well. They do stuff with The Mandalorian, The Avengers, Star Wars, and other properties as well. They've done stuff with The Walking Dead. They've done, with Cheetos and other stuff as well. It's hilarious. It's stuff with Minecraft. But Dr. Squatch is basically Dr. Squatch is one of our affiliates. So please use our affiliate link in the bio. Show the channel some love and go see the doctor, Dr. Squatch. All right. Once again, that is it for Biscuits and Penalties. I do invite everyone who is listening on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts to give us a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for listening. And we do also recommend you listen to our other podcasts as well. Dirt and Turf podcast. The Hard Count will be getting one special episode before the draft, and then one after the draft. So be on the listen for that. Football is coming back. That is a football podcast. I said Dirt and Turf podcast. We also have the Social Slam podcast as well. Our bi-weekly wrestling podcast, which will be next week. And we also have The Lap Down, currently hosted by Ryan as interim host. We haven't had a new episode lately. We'll be working on that later on this week. So be on the listen for that. Of course, thanks to all of our affiliates, not just Dr. Squatch. They're in the bio wherever you get your podcasts, And I am Cobra. And on behalf of Alex, we gotta get off the ice. The Zambody's coming. We'll see you later.